Sober Society is a nonprofit that I founded based off of Sober Life in Great Falls, which I noticed y'all follow their page as well. I had worked with them quite a bit when I was in the Great Falls area, and I love what they do. Their mission, and they have so many things that they're involved in, but the part that I was passionate about and loved was sober social activities. Um, as you know, out in the middle of nowhere, we don't have a lot to do recreationally, and the times are changing where people are used to being able to do something. When I was small, we'd go out, or when I was young, all us farm kids would meet at one place and hang out, and that was how we lived. But now in town, everyone's looking for something to keep their mind busy. So we get together and we have a lot of meetings, we have a lot of programming, we have a lot of classes, we have a lot of court ordered functions when people are in recovery from addiction or struggling with mental health behaviors. We don't have a lot of ways to build sober, healthy connections. So when you're trying to change your life and you're intimidated to go to church or intimidated to go to meetings, it seems a lot less intimidating to go to a barbecue or go play volleyball with people or go do a number of things. We have craft nights. We have a puzzle palooza where we get 5 of the same puzzle, and everybody that shows up sits at one of those. We split into even teams and we have a race to see who can put it together first. We have cooking classes. We have hiking events. We've done sober campouts. We have done a number of things just to help people relearn what they like to do sober. And it's been very effective because we have had different churches come to our Sober Sunday Fun Day event, and they might just bring food. Actually, the best evangelical tool I've ever seen was popsicles. We had a pastor bring burgers, hot dogs, the works, but he brought a cooler full of popsicles to the barbecue, and it was the best thing ever because people just walking by, we could be like, hey, do you want a popsicle? And they'd come over and say hi, make introductions. And I feel like when you are open about what you're going through in your life, or what you're doing with your work or what you're passionate about, whether it be recovery or God or mental health or family or sports, we as humans make those connections. And it was really great. A lot of people came that day and stopped and fellowshipped with us, where we were able to build connections. And out of that barbecue in the park, randomly, just hoping that people showed up, we were able to get 2 people signed up for Medicaid and the expansion program. So we were able to build a lot of connections. And through that, the mission of, I have 2 positions. The ones with Advocate for Change is works with North Dakota Health and Behavioral Health. And Sober Society just is trying to bring people into living a sober life. So there's a lot of overlap. But I was able to get 2 people hooked up with the application portal for Medicaid and getting the expansion, which allows them to access a lot of addiction services in North Dakota. Our program over here is a little different than it was in Montana. And then it also, I've had several people throughout the summer with us doing these Sunday events that have said, I didn't want to go to an AA meeting by myself, or I didn't want to go to church by myself. Would you mind if I tagged along? And absolutely. Or we do things like on Saturday post, hey, we're going to Life Church on Sunday at 11. Does anyone want to go with us or need a ride or anything? And a lot of people have private messaged that way and came to church. And I don't mean to bring my religion to a meeting, but that's just a part of what I do. It doesn't have to be a part of what anyone else does, obviously. And I have found that if I don't lead with that, people are more receptive to asking to tag along even. And the same with AA. Like if I don't lead with, hey, you should really go to an AA meeting, but I just live a life that people see, then they're more apt to ask to come along. And the Sober Society, people are really intimidated to join different groups but they will come to a sober social event. So that's really it in a nutshell. It sounds so simple that it sounds confusing. We just hang out, have fun, and invite people to fellowship with us. Love people right where they're at. It started out very grassroots. It was just me like, hey guys, I find if I say we are having a barbecue, people assume that there will be somebody cooler than me there. So, and usually by the time it comes to fruition, there will be other people, right? My volleyball team will come, or one person from church, one person from AA, one person from volleyball, one person from my daughter's friends group's mom. And it's just a very eclectic blend of people. Honestly, we have hippies, we have people that drive to Montana because they still like to smoke weed. We have people that are stay-at-home moms and homeschool. We have people that are very involved in different parts of the community. We have people from Williston community builders that come. It really is a very informal thing. Every night we have an activity. Monday nights we play softball. Tuesday nights we have a league volleyball team. Wednesday nights we have a women's recovery group that welcomes anyone in recovery from any habits, hangups, or hurts. On Thursdays, we have an open gym where we play volleyball or basketball. On Fridays, we either do bingo or crafting or a movie night. And then Saturdays, actually, I lied. Saturdays, we don't do anything. I spend that time with my family. And Sundays, we do a sober Sunday fun day from 2 to 5 in the afternoon where we're able to build those social connections. And then every day at 10 a.m., we meet for a wellness walk, just like Sober Life out of Great Falls. I really love that they did that. And I've also found that physical health is important for people when it comes to mental health or recovery, or it's just another way. Also, when only 3 people show up for the walk, it's nice to have that time to vent. You know, I might need to just vent at my husband or about my husband so I don't vent at him. That's a good time to do it and get those out and realize if it's a frustration that's worth packing my truck up and leaving over. Maybe not that extreme, but it's a lot easier to have those outlets than that when you need a friend and not a therapist. Sometimes I have to tell people, let's get you hooked up with a therapist. Christy Stroop and Thomas Risberg at Sober Life and Alliance for Youth in Great Falls are really active in, they try to be really active in legislature and the Cascade County Substance Abuse Coalition. They have some great advocates for all kinds of addiction and mental health. I filed my business license last September when I moved here. I kind of waited until the beginning of the year, thinking it would be easier to get grants. But as a nonprofit, y'all know it's not that easy to get grants. Like everybody thinks that, oh, you're a nonprofit, you'll have all this money coming in. But we don't. It has really been participant driven and me going out and beating the streets and looking for donors. I really started working on that in January. And then about the time it got warm out is when I could start holding activities outside, which is a lot cheaper than renting a space. That's when it really picked up. Around late April, early May. It is. I only have a Facebook page. I want to invest in a website. I also have some people going through the peer support training right now in North Dakota, and the care coordination classes. So we're looking to add that to what we do, and that would be able to fund the business, the organization rather. We also took over the Williston Builders Community Garden. and that is a heavy on the we means me. It turns out people like to do a lot of the fun stuff, but as you guys must know, not a lot of people like to do a lot of the work. So that's been the holdback and the caveat, like trying to get volunteers that want to volunteer for the activities that are not that fun. So a lot of the participants I have come from AA and NA, which is a self-supporting declining outside contributions. I'm in Williston. We have activities there 3 nights a week. In Watford 3 nights a week. And then I just for wintertime toned down Sober Sunday Fun Day to the first and third Sundays of the month. One will be in Williston, one will be in Watford City. Oh. Bismarck has a lot more funding opportunities and partnership opportunities available. So I've learned that even though my goal is to bring recovery and resources to our small rural area, it is worth it to me to come down to Bismarck 1 day a week and try to build those partnerships. Because when people love the mission and see that there's an underserved area there, eventually, if you tell your story to 20 people, one of those people is going to either want to help you or know someone that can help you or hope to help you find someone that can help you. It's just a lot of work. I do post them on Facebook, and I pin that post to the top of our page. I also share it on my personal page, and our tried and true people that show up every time. We have a core group of about 15 to 20 that show up fairly regularly. They usually share it. Some of the counseling offices in town share it. I have had a lot of people just really supportive of the mission, that if they can't help financially, that's one of the ways. I've seen you guys have shared our posts. I appreciate that so much. I try to do the same for you. Even though we're a state away, it's really not that far. Some days it feels like a whole world away, but it's really not. We just rented an office space, which is why I tried to hold most of my events outside the summer so I could save that venue fee money to put in towards the office fund. We have an office in a meeting hall, Jack Wigley Fellowship Hall in town, and that will be opening. Our grand opening is September 22nd. There's a barbecue, bounce houses, cornhole boards, and just a couple different agencies that have supported us throughout the year will be there to put up tables, like the suicide hotline. We'll have a table for that. We'll have a table for First Link. Advocates for Change that I work with will have a table. There's a treatment center an hour from here that will have a table. I would love to reach out to the treatment center on the Montana side of the line. And then I also wanted to have information there on if people are in recovery and this is a career path that they like, whether in North Dakota they combine behavioral health and addiction services into one group. So if people have lived experience with either of those, they can go into peer support. So I'd like to show people that you don't have to just go to school for 4 years to be an LAC. Like, your story matters and you can change lives. What matters is treating people right and sharing your experience, strength, and hope. Caring about people, trying to drop the judgments, which I'm telling you, like, sometimes that is hard. You will get some clients that you've known them your whole life and they know your bad luck and you know theirs, but you just have to work together as professionals. So that I would love to have that grand opening also educate people on the options. Like, you're not hopeless just because you've had struggles. You can use those struggles actually as a bouncing board for a comeback. The biggest piece of advice I have is just do it and don't make it overcomplicated. Have a barbecue. Like it really is as simple as it sounds, unless you want to build it into a bigger business, which I thought at first I might want to. And I do a lot of things. And so I do have an LLC and a nonprofit. But at first I didn't need that. I really overcomplicated it in the beginning. If you start by just hosting a barbecue once a month, there are churches that will help you. There are farms and ranches that cut their own beef that will help you. There are people that love people that will help you. Just what was the movie when we were kids? Build it, they will come.